Welcome to Dightsoft. So in this video, I'll be showing you how to set up your Dightsoft platform. Currently, I have 3 locations. You can see that if I click on here, you will see that I have 3 different locations. In your case, it could just be that you have 1 location. If 1 location is what you paid for, you will see 1 location here. This is where you see the store. I have just 1 store in this Lagos branch. Likewise, whenever you want to go to the home dashboard, that is here, you will click on this one. So you click on this one. When you want to sign out, you click on this icon, then you click on sign out. You can see your profile here. Profile, this is where you can actually change your password. So likewise, my subscription, you can click here to see your subscription, the number of location that you have. All right. So this is a demo account. So I want to show you how to set up your platform. Assuming you paid for more than 1 location, by default, you will see 1 location here. So if I want to create additional locations, that's location here is, let's say you have branch in Abuja, you have in Lagos, you have in Port Harcourt. Let's say you also have in Kaduna. So let's say you want to create another location, you can click on configuration. Majorly, this is where most of the things that we'll look at today is. So you will go to location. So under location, you will click on create. But before we do that, let's see the locations that we have. Let's click on view. We have 3 locations, all right? So when I click on create, so under create, I can now give this location a name. Let me say I want to call this thing, let's say, so that is the name of this location, Delta branch. All right. Also, we have attendance rule. Let's select the one previously I have created attendance rule, but we'll still go back to that. So this is where you set the rules that will apply to how you, when, what time, and how do the system calculate when your staffs comes to work. Okay, that is just basically what this attendance rule does. So I will click on submit. So you will see now I have Delta branch added. Okay, so I have 4 branches now. I can easily switch branch. All right, if I want to switch branch, I can click on here. Okay, at the moment, Lagos Delta branch that I created have not reflected, so I need to reload. So once I do that, I will see Delta branch. So when I switch to this Delta branch, everything I'm doing now will just be for this Delta branch. Okay, that is how Dightsoft works. You see that in Delta branch, I don't have any store. But when I go like head office, I have like 4 different stores in head office. So let's do what we want to do under Delta branch. But if it's just 1 location that you have, you can just ignore this step. So the next thing is, let's look at settings. So I'll click on settings, then I'll go to general settings. So this is where you configure everything about your business. So the first thing is default unit. Maybe the default unit that you want to use, kg. It could be pieces. All right. So you can just put your default unit, your default currency. You can type it here. The time zone, the time format. You know, these are some of these things are self-explanatory. So I will jump those that are self-explanatory. I will jump them so that this video will not be too long. So this one is your time format, your decimal place. How many decimal places do you want after your let's say you have maybe 5,000.00 or 5,000.2 naira, you know, so you can increase or reduce. The same thing for quantity. How many decimal places do you want? Default user. if you are making sales and you did not select any customer, this name you type in here, that is what the system will use. Okay, so this is just a case you did not select any customer. Who will the system name that customer? So you put in the name here. We have invoice length. How many characters minimum do you want your invoice to have? Maybe invoice 00124, invoice so this will be like, let's say invoice 0001, just like that. Status, you can leave it at approve, so that by default whatever you are doing will be approved. We also have search date. Default search date, it is on daily. You can leave it daily. If you say daily, means that whenever you go to your report, by default the system will first of all show you report for that day. Then you can now start filtering the day you want, or anywhere you go to, you want to first of all see the report for that month. Okay, so that is the meaning of this. We have timeout. Whenever you sign into your mobile app, do you want the system to, how many hours do you want it to stay before the system will time you out? That is the meaning of this. Offline cloud synchronization rate is after every, if you are using Dightsoft offline desktop or mobile app, after every 30 minutes, whatever they are selling offline, whenever it sees internet, it will be uploading to the cloud. That is the meaning of this. If you change it to maybe 60 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, all right. So we also have debtors payment. So after 9 hours, whatever credit sales you sell will be regarded as debtors payment whenever the customer pays. That's the meaning of this. We have login attempt. How many attempts should they make before they start sending you notification? We have a report format. So this report format is how you want the system to display your report. So you can select everything you see under here. Like you can see, I selected this. So let me select summary. In your case, all these things will not be selected, so you have to select them if it's a new account. Likewise, mode of payment. When during sales, this is the system will show you these various options, like how did the customer pay you. All right, that is the meaning of this. The system will show you this, then the cashier or whoever that is making the sales will now choose how the customer pay him or her. We have in receipt format, or before we go there, a single page. We are currently on single page, so you can click this. If you turn it off, you will not be seeing this sidebar. We have view all location record. For instance, when you go to product list, you want to be seeing just product for that branch that you are currently in. If you turn this thing on, if you go to product list, you will see product for the branch that you are in and other branches as well. That is the meaning of this. So I will leave it all because I want, whenever I open any place, I want to just see records for that location that I am in. Enable mobile app. You can enable this thing if you want to use the mobile app. Receipt format. We have different receipt format. This is for POS printer. These ones are for A4 big size printer. But the difference is that if you choose standard, standard allows you to upload your letterheaded and your design. Okay, you can just design maybe the company letterheaded with the background. You upload it. Any invoice the Dightsoft is printing will have your letterheaded and the background. Okay, so receipt will just be printed on your letterheaded if you choose this one. Invoice preface, it will have what preface do you want before the invoice number. Show signature on the receipt, show balance, show task. These are things you want to show or turn off in your receipt. What message do you want to appear under your receipt? That is receipt footer. Allow duplicate product name. Okay, these ones are self-explanatory. If you want to quantity over sell, if you want, whenever your quantity is 0, they cannot sell, leave this thing turn off. But if you want to sell even when you have 0 product, you can turn this one on. We have model number, show expire product. You can sell below, so you can turn all these things and turn it off. We have maximum price range. That is this price range, I explain it in the inventory video. So it's used for where you want to sell in carton and pack. How many of that such category price can you create? That is the meaning of this. This, whatever you put here will appear on the home page during login. So once you are done, you can submit. So this pin here, whatever pin you type in here, that is what whoever wants to sign in into your mobile app, they would require what this pin here to be able to sign in. All right, so that is the meaning of this. So you need this pin here is a case where they want to sign in into Dightsoft mobile. All right, so they will require your pin, that is this particular whatever pin you type here, for them to be able to sign in into your account. Okay, this is different from the username and password that you created for them. So once you have selected all these things and you click submit, you can now see all these options here. These are how your report will line up. So this is purchase. In purchase, do you want to show purchase, total purchase on everywhere? Do you want to show it on report only? Do you want to show it on mobile, on calendar? So you choose accordingly. If there's any color you want your report to have, you can check. So we have for expenses, this is how your expenses will come out, like total expenses, total payment. Anyone you don't want, you can turn it off. The same thing applies to sales. You can see sales. All right, so you can just make adjustments and submit. So this is for under settings. So these are first thing that you do when you create a new account in Dightsoft. After you have created location. So the next thing that I want us to look at is we'll look at this account. Okay, account. But before we create an account, we need to create a currency. Okay, we already have a currency. So if you don't have a currency, you need to go and create a currency. Like what currency? If it's Naira, you can put Naira or NGN. Put the short code here. You can ignore the rate and click submit, because you need this currency to create an account. Now, to create an account, this account is where your customer pays in. Like you can have different kinds of accounts. When a customer buys from you or you render service to a customer, the customer asks you, okay, which account will I pay to? So that is what we are trying to do here. So we'll select Delta branch. So let's say that this account is Money Point. So this is my Money Point account. The currency I have created, I will choose N because I use N as the short code. You can leave bank. If you have not created any bank, you can leave the bank. Accepted payment, you can choose so you can choose accepted payment. You click on submit. So I now have Money Point. Let me create another bank. So this will be cash. So this will be cash accounts. Let's say cash. We use this one to accept cash. So this is how you create different banks in Dightsoft. So after you have created the banks, you can now create your company. All right, so we already have a company here. Okay, this is our company, but I want to create a new company. Okay, so what I will do is that I will click on create. I will call this Delta. So the name of the company maybe let me call it Delta. All right, so this is the name of my company. The phone number, I can type the phone number here. The address, you can type, let's say is in is in Delta. So you can select accordingly, put the address here. You can select the receipts type, because in as much that we have where we enter the receipt format in the general settings, whatever you select here will override this general setting for this company alone. What it means is that with Dightsoft you can have different letterheads that you can use to sell to your customer. That is different receipt head. Let's say you have a kind of two company, is one company, but you have like two company in one company. Let me put it that way. You, for instance, let's say maybe people that are into electronics. Sometimes the name of your company is A&B Nigeria Limited. Now you sell based on your dealership or whatever with, let's say, LG. You want a receipt to have LG as the heading. Then if you sell Samsung products, you want it to have Samsung as the heading. So this is one of the case. So business like that, you want to have different invoice head, and just upload. This is where you upload your letterheaded. You upload your letterheaded here, and you click submit. Okay, so this is how you create your location. Sorry, this is how you create your company rather. So when I now go to store, because I need to create a store. Store is like a cash point. When after customer has when a customer buys from you, there is a place the customer normally go to make payment, and they will give the customer receipt. That is the meaning of this store. So it's like a cash point. So, but before we create a store, we need to create a warehouse. It's very important, because this warehouse will be attached to this store, so that is where goods they are selling will be deducted from. So we'll go back home. We go to inventory. We go to warehouse. Look at warehouse here. At the moment, you can see we don't have any warehouse. So I can create a warehouse. So I can call this store where. So this is store warehouse. All right, this is store warehouse. I can create another warehouse. Call it. I will just call this one warehouse. All right. Let me just be using capital letter for everything. So I will call this warehouse. So now I have two different warehouses. I have my warehouse, store warehouse, and my warehouse. Okay, I could call this one any name. You can choose to call it outlet, warehouse, or whatever. So now I can now go to configuration and go to store and go to create. So now I want to have different kinds of store. So I'll create it in Delta branch. So see, this one we use my store warehouse. So the company, you will select the company. So I will select this one. Okay, so I will just select this particular company that I've created. So I want this store to have this warehouse. So another thing is the name I want to call it. So I will call this thing end. So I'm calling this store end user. So I will choose the business type. So this one is very important. I could just choose supermarket for buying and selling of product. But if your business is service based, you have to choose service. All right, if it's service based, you can choose service. Gas is for like all those gas plants, filling station, the rest. We have restaurants, so we have different type. So you can choose supermarket. So one thing is this: when you choose supermarket, for instance, now because I want to sell to end user, I can turn in charge customer. Okay, because I want to be charging customer, whoever that is buying from this point of sales, I have to charge them. That is the meaning of this. Secondly, we have use dealer price, so there are cases where in product, if you go to the inventory video, you will understand dealer price and distributor's price. But what this thing means is that when you are creating product in Dightsoft, you have your normal price. We have another type of price we call dealer price. We have another one we call distributor's price, and we have another one which is price range. So if a product have price, have distributor's price, have dealer price, there are cases you want, okay, I will not check all these ones. I will leave it. I will click submit. The system will make use of the price of the product. That is the normal price of the product. Now I've created this. I've created this store. You can see here. If I can now create another type of store, I will choose from store warehouse. This is where this store will be taking its product from. So I want to use another invoice for this store. So these are for, I will call this one dealer, okay? Dealer store or dealer outlet or whatever name you want to call it. So let me just call it dealer store. So in this store, I want to use it to be selling to my dealers. I will have to turn on dealer price. So this system, whoever is selling from this store, the system will make use of the product dealer price. That is what this step means. Remember that this name could be anything. You can give it any name you want. Now I can create another kind of store. This time I want to be selling from warehouse, okay? Just to show you that how flexible Dightsoft is. Let me choose this one here. So this will be alright, so I will mark distributors. I will choose supermarket. Okay, but I believe you now understand from here. So let's see if we can create another one. Let's call this service. Okay, let's call this one service. So I will now choose service. So I don't need to click any of this. So this service, what this service does is that it opens the sales up to more features concerning service. Service-based business, when you are creating your store, you have to choose service. The difference is that when you choose service, you don't need to start entering. You can sell even when your product does not have quantity, okay? But if it's any other thing apart from service, the only way you can make sales, your product, you must have the product that you want to sell. You know, service-based business is not based on quantity. Like, you don't need quantity to sell because you render service. Okay, so for that case, you use service. So you have to choose service. All right, so we have now 4 different stores. So this is just like you have cash point 1, cash point 2, cash point 3, cash point 4. That is the meaning of this. So if for supermarket or pharmacy or any type of business that involves buying of products, you can have multiple store. Then we also have service. Remember that these things are just in this location. If I switch to Lagos branch and I go to store, you see that I just have one store in Lagos branch, which is cash point. If I switch back to Delta branch, you see that I have 4. So let me show you how this thing will appear when I want to make sales. Just quickly, I have a separate video on how to make sales. So to make sales, when I go to store, you see all my outlets here. You could see, so anyone I want to sell, maybe I want to sell to distributor, I can click this, or end user or dealer store. So I want to sell to dealer store. So you see how you now have to select your product and actually make sales. But at the moment, we don't have any product yet because this is a new location that we don't even have staff. Okay, because this is a new location. So let's go back to configuration. we have seen how to create your stores, just like your outlet or your cash points. The next thing is row. All right. So this row is because as an admin or the owner, you have access to every thing that is on Dightsoft. But when you start employing workers, you don't want your workers to see all these things. So that is where rows comes in. So you can call this row sales, or you can call it just sales. So you can say, okay, I want this sales person, whoever that will have this row, to be able to see just Delta branch. That is the default location they will see. They will have access to just Delta branch. All right. Or you could say, okay, I want them to have access to, if this person is supervisor or general manager or regional manager, you can say, okay, I want this person to have access to all these branches. But in this case, it's just a salesperson in this Delta branch. And I want the person to have access to Delta, maybe probably Delta dealer. I can say Delta dealer store. The person will also have access to Delta distributor store. So the person can only see these two stores. The person cannot see any other store in this Delta branch. The person can switch between store. That is, he can switch in between store. The person cannot switch location. That is this location you are seeing. So we'll leave it off. The person can view all records. All records means here is that all records under Delta. So let's say the person go to sales list, for instance. The person can see sales list for his or her own and sales list for his or her colleague in the same Delta branch, not other branch. So that is the meaning of this. The person can print blank invoice. That is like generate like a pro forma invoice. The person can generate bill. The person can copy product, because Dightsoft allows you to copy product from one location to another. Instead of registering it again, you just duplicate it to another branch. So you can leave all this one off. So here now, everything you are seeing like configuration, look at configuration. That's where we are. If you turn everything on, the person will have access to everything, but that's not what we want. So because this person is just a sales rep, I can say, okay, the person will have access to store. Store is where you make sales. Can the person change price during sales? You can, if you don't want to turn it off. Can the person view sales list? Let's see what is inside sales list. Sales list, summary, daily sales. I can say, okay, I want the person to see sales list and summary, but I don't want them to see any other thing. I don't want them to export or print. So if you want this, you can turn it on. I also want this person to see product. Maybe product list only. That's what the person will see. The person cannot create product. So this is where you create the kind of row you want. So this is for salesperson. All right. So I'll also create another one. So this thing that we did here is just for sales. You can have maybe what is it called? Supervisor. So this is for supervisor. Maybe this supervisor now we see Delta branch. This supervisor works in Delta branch. He can see Delta branch. No, he cannot switch. He can view dashboard, view records. You just indicate what you want. Your supervisor, maybe you want your supervisor to see everything under product. He or she can create product, delete. You choose the kind of things you want your supervisor to do. Your supervisor will see maybe service expenditure. Anyone you don't want, you can turn it off. So this is for supervisor. All right. Delta branch. You can choose everything in Delta branch for this supervisor. So we can click on submit. So what we are doing here is that we are creating role for our supervisor. This role is different from the username and password. So now, after you have created all your roles, you can now go to, let's go to home, go to HR, go to employee. So this is where we create employee. I just want to show you how this role that we created works. So let me just create one staff. I will call this person Mr. Mike. Mr. Mike J. Okay. No. So this is first name, middle name. Maybe the middle name could be, let's say Joe is the middle name, and the last name is so this is the last name of this person. So you put in the phone number, the gender. So you select location that this person will belong to, Delta branch. Who is this person going to report to? You select the role. So you see those roles that you created, supervisor. And okay, let's say this Mr. Jane is a salesperson, for instance. So I will create a username for this person. So the username could be demo. Let me call it demo 24. That is the username. The password, I will put the same thing. Okay, demo 24, the username and the password. Department, we have not created any of these. That's why we are not seeing anything here. So, but I just want to show you how this row works. Okay, you can create more, you can fill in more information, but let me submit. Okay. So now we have this person. So let's see actually if what we did now work. So I will put in this username that I just created now. So I'll click sign in. So when I sign in, you see that this Mr. Jane have limited access. So the what he or she can do is just see sales list. Mr. Jane can see based on the configuration that we did. You could see how the sales summary is. Mr. Jane cannot, or Mr. Joe cannot even can make sales. He or she can make sales. Okay. We gave this person this access. So you see that these are just limited things that he can do, or Mr. Mike rather. Mr. Mike can switch between stores because we gave him this access. So these are just limited, no other things. So if you want to have just a cashier to be making sales only, this is how you can structure your business using Dightsoft. So this is how you can actually structure your business using Dightsoft. So once you have created an account, these are some of the things you need to do. In terms of configuration, you need to actually configure all your products and also configure different things in Dightsoft, like attendance rule. So this attendance rule, let's just look at this attendance rule. So here you give it a description. You select work days. So these are different fees you charge whenever your staff comes late. So here you just have to put your map latitude, your map longitude. Threshold is if any staff that is outside 30 meters range, the clocking will not work. Okay, this needs to work with Dightsoft clock in. Okay, that is, they can actually clock in or clock in rather with their device. Once they clock in, then the system will actually record the time they came to work. So that is for this. Another thing I want us to look at is the fields. We have customer field. You know, when we went to employee, let's go to employee, you saw different fields. So here you can turn off some fields that you don't need when you are creating employee or staffs. Or for customer, you can also turn off some things. Maybe if you are creating a new customer, let's say you don't need the customer date of birth, the description, maybe company, you don't need all these things. You can just uncheck them and submit. If you want anyone you want to make mandatory, you have to actually check that one. So this applies to everything you are seeing here, both your supplier, your contractor. So this applies to all of them. So this is how you can set up your Dightsoft, for your business. There are other things that we will look at in the other videos, like managing your expenses, how to create expenses head, how to create your employee payroll, contact. These are some of other, but this video is basically how to set up your company using Dightsoft. So the summary is that you need to go to setting and set it up. You need to create company so that you can attach that company to the store that you are creating. You need to also create warehouse. Every store needs a warehouse. Then you need to define the kind of store you want to create, whether the kind of business, whether it's showroom, service. So they are almost the same. The only difference is this service, all right? And service is for service-based business.